from the social justice community and a vegan, but most importantly, a kid. His presentation is entitled, Did You Know? Please welcome to the stage, my friend, Lou Blank.
All right.
Yay.
Check. Is it good? Sound good?
Yep.
All right, let's go. All right, so my name is Lou Blank, and the thing that I think is most important about kids is that we're always curious, and we're always looking to learn new things. So that's kind of what I do sometimes, like on the interwebs and all that. So these are some of the things that I've learned over the past month or so. Did you know? Did you know that you can't drive from Panama to Colombia? You probably didn't know that. You would just think that a road trip from Alaska to Chile can just naturally happen. But not. It's called the Darien Gap. It's a 60-mile gap in the Pan American Highway. It's full of guerrilla warfare, natural threats, a lot of everything that's bad for you is basically in there. All right, did you know that all numbers added together to infinity equals negative 112? Well, it's controversial, but many physicists and mathematicians think that. It goes against common sense, right, because they're all positive numbers, but I guess an explanation is infinity is a concept, and many equations prove it. So, did you know Japan's maglev 375-mile-per-hour train would take us from Madison to Chicago in less than 20 minutes? That's pretty fast, right? Now, if you went from Buenos Aires all the way up across the Bering Strait through China and India, down Africa to Cape Town, it would only take 2.5 days. Did you know that the most populated urban area in the world, controversially again, is Guangzhou, China? So, China. Okay. Approximately 44 million people live in the area. All right, so did you know that the US-Canada border is marked off by a treeless zone? So for 5,500 American miles, there's like literally this like cut of trees where there's no trees to mark the border, and it has to be re-maintained every 5 or 6 years. Probably never heard of that. Here's an up-close picture. All right, did you know about the train going through the market in Bangkok, Thailand? So there's like literally this market on a railway, and there's food that goes, like the train goes just over the food. And the train goes through 8 times a day, and they just pause for a second, and then resume once the train goes by. That's pretty crazy. Did you know how to pronounce Qatar, Niger, and Khmer Empire? Or should I say, Qatar, Niger, and Khmer Empire? But to be fair, we don't pronounce France, France. So, I mean, just maybe a bit of education. All right, so did you know that the Devil's Pool in Zambia is the most dangerous pool on planet Earth? So basically, it's literally a natural infinity pool on the side of Victoria Falls. It only costs about $50 to go out to it, and it's totally legal in Zambia, but it would be completely downright illegal in the United States. Did you know about the salt flats at Salar Uyuni, Bolivia? So basically the picture explains itself. They're reflective, they reflect the sky above it. And they're so big that most of the tours actually take 2 days to see it all. Pretty crazy. La la la. All right, did you know that in 2019, we will begin human trials for a cancer cure that comes from a malaria protein? So, I mean, this is not proven to work, of course, but apparently 95% of the cells that this protein bonds with will be cured. Did you know we're the most populated country in Africa? So you're probably thinking of Egypt and South Africa right now. Well, Egypt comes in 3rd, South Africa comes in 5th. In 2nd place is Ethiopia, and in 1st place, with 174 million people, is Nigeria. It's by far almost twice the most populated country. All right, transition. So these are a bunch of different, like good, lighthearted facts. So the last 6 I kind of wanted to hit home with maybe some ones that might expose you to some, I don't know, I guess more somber truths. Don't want to be too negative, but all right. Did you know that global warming, that 63% of global warming is caused by a pool of 90 corporations? So that means that 2/3 of the emissions that are causing the heat on the earth to rise come from just 90 corporations. And a lot of that comes from agriculture, industry, mining, etc. Did you know that 13 million people in Bangladesh and India will soon be refugees, according to climate predictions? So basically, because there's this Sundarbans area of India, and it's very prone to sea level rise. And 13 million people within the next few years will be displaced. Did you know about this Princeton study? So basically it says that no matter how much the average American supports an issue, a political issue, it literally has no effect on the chance it has of becoming a law. 30% chance all across the board. The story's different for the top 10% in income though. Did you know about the Nicaragua Canal? So a Chinese billionaire is planning on cutting a canal, basically the equivalent of the Panama Canal, but 3 times longer, through the center of Nicaragua. Incredible environmental damage, and it costs $40 to $50 billion, only for the economy. Did you know that the UN calls the Rohingya Muslims the most persecuted minority? You've probably never even heard of them, and that's why I'm sharing this. Basically, there's some very extremist Buddhists, yeah, that's true, in Myanmar, and they're persecuting the ethnic minority. There are 1 million of these people who are being persecuted, deported, killed, all of the above. Did you know about any statistics in Dane County's Race to Equity report? So these red bars represent black people, and the yellow bars represent white people. These are all statistics in Madison. So in Madison, black people are in much higher poverty rates, dramatically higher juvenile arrests, and much less high school graduation, and much less 3rd grade reading proficiency. Did you know that kids today are going to be the ones to solve these past 6 problems? So I guess that's the theme. My name is Louis, this is my PechaKucha. Thank you.
Nice.
Okay, so does anyone have any questions for Lou?
Right in the back.
The market with the train. Which came first, the train or the market?
I actually don't know, but clearly the market is kind of molded around the train line, so I would assume the train line was there first. I actually don't know. I'll look that up when I get home.
Good question.
Any other questions?
One more.
Now, I have to bring up a point about your hypothetical 2.5-day trip from South America to Asia, because you do realize you'd have to go through that Darien
Yeah, exactly.
Strait, so, you know,
Exactly.
how would you get through it?
Well, it's very controversial. I've read lots of reports arguing both sides of bridging the Darien Gap, and I wrote an article about it and stuff. So basically, proponents for the bridge say it would connect the Americas, it would improve the economies, but there are a lot of downsides like environmental damage, exposing foot and mouth disease through North America. And really what I've decided is that it's a bad idea, but if in some way we found a way to make it so that it doesn't create such environmental damage, then that would work. So I might not even support my own idea in that case.
Okay,
Oh, wait,
Wait, yeah, can you tell us how to get to your movies?
okay. So I have a YouTube channel called LewTube. So L-E-W Tube. So yeah, check it out.
Okay, since that was brought up, what types of movies do you have out there?
Okay, so I've made a lot of movies. A lot of them involve travel. Some of them involve politics. I spend lots of hours editing them. I'm currently making 2 films. One is about climate change, and one is about the Black Lives Matter movement that I've been a part of here in Madison. So yeah.
Thank you for the information you shared on climate change. Question, if you could do one thing to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, what would it be?
All right, that's a good question. Well, the immediate thing is I became vegan for a combination of animal rights reasons and environmental reasons, so it kind of has to do with climate change. Some reports say that agriculture causes 50% of climate change, it's very controversial. Some say 9%, so who knows? But I don't know, I don't know, a lot of the emissions come from like electricity, transportation, so if we switch to alternative energy, and I'm not a scientist, but if we switch to alternative energy and had like electric cars and things like that, and the electricity was not produced by fossil fuels, that would probably be a really helpful step.
What do you want to study in college?
Ooh, boy, I've been thinking about this one. Anywhere from economics, political science, geography, film, all of the above, basically. So,
Do you believe in ghosts?
I do not believe in ghosts. They are not real. During Halloween, yeah, thanks for bringing this up. During Halloween, like there were like on the announcements at school, they were like promoting ghosts, the theory that ghosts are real. It's not. They aren't real. Have you ever met a ghost? It's not true. All right. Yeah. I have a very strong opinion on that.
Can I ask you a question? Who is funding your movies?
Oh, me.
Me. Cool.
I've actually been to Guangzhou, China, and when I was there, I didn't check out the population other than what I was told, and I was told it was 20 million, and I think your slide said 44.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you can explain the discrepancy.
Okay, so it really depends on how, I've done a little bit of research on this. It really depends on how you define like an urban area. I mean, some just include the city, but if you include, I mean, really it extends to Hong Kong and areas around that. So if you include places like that, it's 44 million. And by the way, around Beijing, they're building a metropolitan area that's supposed to be 113 million people. So that one's soon going to overtake Guangzhou.
Cool. Dude.
Oh, we got one from one of the other speakers. Which fact did you find most interesting?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, most recently, what I've been researching the most is the one about the Rohingya Muslims. And I did, like, just this past weekend, I spent, I don't know, like 5 hours or so researching it. And what I learned was, basically, in the 1982 citizenship law, it says that any ethnic minority that's been in Myanmar, the current borders of Myanmar, since 1823 is considered an automatic citizen, if they were there since 1823. And that's actually true about the Rohingya people. They've been in the area since, they were recorded there in 1799, so they should be citizens. But the Myanmar government actually says that they are illegal immigrants from Bangladesh. So they are not citizens and they're technically stateless because of that that lie, really. So yeah.
Okay, one more. Okay, go ahead.
What do you think us youth can do to fix those issues you talked about?
That's a hard one. I don't know. I would say a lot of, like, especially the last 6 things I brought up, I would argue that you can kind of tweak at those with our current government, but you can't fully fix those problems, like climate change. I mean, if we're, in this extreme market economy, I mean, we aren't going to make that much room for environmental regulation. So what I would argue is that change the system. That's what I do.
Cool. All right.